Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia. Welcome back to our subscriber game tournament season 2 as we continue with our group 7 matchup here with Yuria in the green versus Fase in the red. And looking at their drafts, we have Yuria bringing Yuan Shao, Yan Baihu, and Guo Jia with a very big army. So we have a Northern Horse Archer, we have 4 units of the Ye Vanguard Spearmen, 1 crossbow unit that's nicely upgraded to tier 4. As a matter of fact, only the range units got the upgrade, which is really smart, as they will gain firing rate as additional to the 1 point morale, 1 point melee evasion, and 1 point attack rate bonus that melee units will get. Then we have 4 units of the Bandit Shot Cavalry on Yan Baihu for some invisible cavalry action, and 2 units of the R1M12 Warriors, which is a really good offensive unit with decent defensive stats as well for a very cheap cost. Then finally on Guo Jia, we brought 6 unit of the Qingzhou Halberd, probably my favorite type of Qingzhou unit, very powerful as well. Then looking at Phase, we have Sun Ce, Tai Shici, and Guo Jia. And looking at the unit choices, we have 2 Handmade Guard to provide guard passive, that's probably a good amount, and having a little bit of melee cav perhaps to counter whatever enemy range unit might have also seems to be a decent idea. Then we also have 2 Lance Cavalry. Now these are all slightly ranked up as the entire army got at least 2 rank up across the board. And then we have Tai Shici with 4 Protector of Heaven, good choice, and 2 Tiger Guard, which I feel is redundant as the guard passive does not stack and you already have 2 Handmade Guards which can follow generals very well. So having these 2 Tiger Guard feels like a poor choice. As we mentioned many times, they are really weak offensively speaking and even defensively speaking, but they cost, a premium over the standard Spear Guard, so they're just a poor choice of unit. Then for Guo Jia, we brought 2 crossbow unit, which is typically fine, but it's kind of sad to see that these crossbow units got less of a rank up compared to their melee counterparts, which got a higher expense in terms of where the money went for those level up, when in fact the range units would receive much more benefit with that rank up money rather than the melee units. But it's a pretty interesting and balanced combo both sides. We both brought Guo Jia, so the entire map is visible. Yan Baihu is not going to be invisible for this matchup, so it'll be interesting to see if there's any sort of guerrilla deployment ahead of time with Yan Baihu, which might get him in trouble, since he would be exposed at the onset of battle. So let's hop into game and see how this one actually plays out. Alrighty, so looking at the deployment on both sides, we have pretty standard deployment on both sides actually. Very conservative with Yan Baihu, which I think is a great choice, because you don't know what the enemy have. You can always, relocate him afterward. Having some sort of, sneaky guerrilla deployment really backfires more often than not, as both sides just took a very basic standard setup with their infantry protecting their range if they have range, or just have their, they actually both have range, so just a nice little protective pocket for their units here. And let's see how they play this one out. And let both sides take stock of the situation, as they both have Guo Jia here, so they know exactly what they're facing. This is just probably a select all and then a move click, which is interesting. I don't know how that would help. And we have the other side Phase here just moving his army across. Now there are some fire arrows here that could try to do some things. We do have 1 of the Northern Horse Archers. Yan Baihu moving to a forward position. Now just because he's spotted doesn't make him any weaker of a general. You still have the threat of the poison volley. You just can't sneak up with it. And it's pretty clear what Phase is trying to do. Trying to escort Tai Shici to do a hail of arrow, or maybe a venomous shot, which is super underrated against units. Basically clusters of infantry will get wrecked if he shoots that into them. Any one unit getting touched means that damage will go on all of them. Okay, we have Fire Will on, so the generals can force a little bit of a waste of ammo. This is very daring. Despite having this powerful roar that can be used twice, with no units to chase nearby, it will be just sort of wasted, because you do rout them, but then they just bounce back when it wears off. And this is super brave that he would charge up here to maybe, I mean, maybe he feel confident because the cavalry's technically close enough. And we're getting into position for that hail of arrows. Let's see how he aims it. Quite far, actually. Unless it's venomous shot. Oh, it's really far. This is a waste. Not only you had the opportunity to get into the straight line and shoot at the straight line, but then we shot an angle here at this distance. Yeah, I don't know. That feels like a super conservative move, considering that nothing was coming towards you. And Sun Ce is still poking around, which is okay. If you're harassing Yanbai to keep him away from being used, that's okay. Not using Venomous Shot, I think it's a mistake most players are doing. They don't recognize that this 450 is per, like, it's spread across the whole group. It's a lot of damage. Also, Sun Ce's Roar is going to have a hard time because of Distant Courage, which covers this entire circle of yellow. Ah, Venomous Shot. Did it hit? Did it not hit? Did it just miss? It missed. It just narrowly missed, though. I think it arced over. They're moving up, so it's hard to hit that. Unless you're in front of them. Oh, the cavalry finally circled around and it's making a charge at Taijutsu here. I mean, Sun Ce's been poking around, but he's just been shot by, you know, crossbow units from the Ye Vanguard. Yanbai Hu was trying to chase him down. Yanbai Hu lost 4k. He's lost 8k. So I think that's a good trade. Now, Yanbai Hu's coming in for a poison volley. It's pretty clear. I don't know if that's a good decision right now because he's not getting a lot of help and he's getting harassed with the attack, so he can't really do it. Yeah, he's getting disrupted and getting hit for 6k health here. Had to pull off. It's a daring attempt, and the cavalry backed off because obviously getting too close to the enemy infantry. Now let's see if the horse archers' fire arrows can light up the forest as the crossbow returns fire on Yanbai Hu. Probably not your best target right now. Are they even firing here? There we go. And they should be able to shred these cavalry quite easily. Well, objective of lighting the tree on fire is working. Now, Yanbai Hu's going to make another attempt at Poison Volley, and no one's really here to stop him. I mean, Guojia could run up to him and just stiflingly deluge him, but the attention is being paid right now to this escort on the right flank to try to get a Poison Volley. Oh, that Poison Volley got off very nicely. 3 units got tagged, maybe even 4. No, 3. And that's going to ruin the unit. The poison ticks hurt a lot. Yeah, the attention was being paid on this side. Sun Ce is coming back a little bit too late. Really not much he could do. There is still 1 crossbow left, but Guojia wasn't able to lead the group in time. It will probably bounce back, but it's just taking damages, and you can see the Tiger Guards picking up that poison damage, about 20 unit per poison tick. We have a very spread out setup. Yeah, they're all spread out. And we'll see. Yeah, the cavalry is going to be very difficult, you know, you can see the shots now. Against the square formation, he's trying to get a shot here. He's not moving anymore, so the shot's coming. Ooh, against generals. I like it. It's getting cancelled. Why are people moving their generals halfway through the hail of arrows? I mean, it took 2k off at that distance. It wasn't a great shot, but like... yeah, cancelling it yourself is never a good decision. Oh, there we go. So he got the cooldown back despite cancelling the first shot. So he was able to do it right after. That was very glitchy, but wasn't too bad. Yanbai Hu was just harassing over here. He should back off and try to look for another poison volley. The cavalry did a full circle, lost some units, and be like, there's no angle. All these squares, setting up the corners, and they're just getting peppered as they drive by. Meanwhile, the regular crossbow is turned around, but with the forest as the cover, I don't think it's going to be that bad with them on the move. They're trying to circle around. And you can see square formation with crossbow units, you know, doesn't really give an opening. And the use of the handmade guard as a shock cavalry instead of as someone who should be just following the generals is just a poor decision. It's like you recruited them and spent money on an otherwise poor unit because you want them to protect your generals in fights, and then you end up not placing them near your generals. Guojia's all alone, getting picked on right now by Yan Baihu. The cavalry circling back. Taishitsu is just, you know, I mean, he's got 2 more of his abilities and the poison volley. He can stay back here, but he's just, I think he's being forgotten right now. I don't actually think this is a micro play. All right, the roar can be very effective here. Roar and then chase. Roar? No? What are we saving it for? We finally have a group of unit away from Yuan Shao. I mean, you can argue he can smash, but he's also not smashing. He's just trading his health against 3 cavalry. The infantries are being sent forth to fight. Now, Qingzhou units are going to trade very well against Tiger Guards. Very well. Look at the double attack. Look at their attack. It's not fair. It's not even close. Taishitsu being pulled back, just not being microed. Yes, I understand these cavalries are eventually going to die, but Sun Tzu lost a lot of health for no reason. 1 roar would have done it. He cannot roar against anything if Yuan Shao is nearby, so there's no play here. Now, looking at Yuan Shao's health, I think Taishitsu was able to get another hail of arrows when he's off screen on him, which is lovely, but he's unbreakable, so until he dies, all these effects will be there. Temporarily giving them unbreakable in case he gets attacked, I guess. And somehow these cavalries got through. Like, they bounced back and they're being used, which is great. And the crossbow is dead. It's a micro difference for the most part. Taishitsu is getting swarmed. Guojia's getting picked off right now. Maybe he's going in for the last hail of arrows here and just try to finish off Yuan Shao. It's a possibility. It's not bad. Let's see if we can pull that off. But if Guojia is... Oh, just don't get into the circle. Ah, he got into the circle. So he can't use ability now. He's just attacking. He's trying to force away the distant courage. Oh, but he gave up on it. He's trying to kill Guojia. No, he's just trying to group back. Whoa, what is he trying to do? Join the infantry fight? Alright, we got Guojia using Wisdom River. I mean, Sun Tzu has a slam, but aside from that, it's not a good fight. The earlier damages from the cavalry fight is showing. Guojia's been chased off. Do we have 1 more ability in him? Now, he's not unbreakable either, so if the army loss start piling up, I mean, Handmade Guard never fought with the generals. Alright, we have the chase down on Taishitsu. And why are we scared of Guojia? Okay, he's realized that he's gonna fight Guojia here. Or not? Why not? I mean, Guojia's realized he really can't win that fight, so he's pulling back. We just have some cavalry in action. Maybe they can peel off Yan Baihu here. We also have to realize the moment Guojia dies, Yan Baihu goes invisible. Yep. Poof, and he's gone. And some of these units as well. These guys are now invisible on the map. We got a simple cavalry units, which actually shot all its ammo, which is unbelievable, because I think these guys have like 80 ammo. I mean, they've been shooting non-stop since the beginning. So, not hard to believe. Let's see if they bounce back after this. After this time's out. Yeah, they're fine. Oh, not anymore. I guess Yuan Shao could get closer. Nope. A little bit misplacement there. I mean, the focus on Taishitsu right now, which I think is okay. There's no more cavalry units, so maybe these cavalries can trade against Yan Baihu here. But there's way too many infantry. Like, if no one can kill Yuan Shao, these infantry will never break. And if they don't break, they'll just grind out the health because Taishitsu need to kite and then put like venomous shot all these guys. It's a possibility, but I would imagine if the cavalry die, then the army loss would just instantly kick in. He's just gone. And he can't peel away from the cavalry. I don't think he should be fighting Yuan Shao right now. It's too late for that. It's much better if he just peels farther away and try to venomous shot these infantry, which is something he should have been doing. Alright, Yan Baihu's trying to run back because he knows he's losing against those cavalry. Let's see if he can just run far enough to be invisible. All these guys can cover him, so he's getting that 50 morale boost, which means he's no longer going to rout here. The cavalry should go help their general. But I think it's too late because army loss is looking like it's kicking in. There's still a couple of crossbow ammo on these guys. It's not surprising that the melee cavalry are the ones that survived to the end here, as they are more missile resistant. And we got our last one. So if he had one, probably should have been used on a general, but I guess there's no good angle. Against unit, venomous shot is a much better choice, especially against a single unit. You're not trying to line up multiple targets. Why are they gone again? Why are the guard passive units not sticking with generals? He hit the venomous shot. Unfortunately, this will only do literally 450, which is no damage against the general. If it hit a unit, it's almost like every one of them will take that 450 spread out, so it actually hurts a lot more. Finally, they unite together, but they're getting poison volleyed here. And that poison will tick, and I think it's over. Once they rout, he army losses right there. Yep. Alrighty, I think a pretty interesting match of like formation pushing into each other, which is rather nice. You got some circling cavalry option, very good use of the Ye Vanguard Spearmen just to zone off those cavalry, not giving them any angles, while committing your own cavalry into the midst of the enemy formation. A really big mischance with Sun Tzu's Roar. Like, when you finally have a group of enemy units who is away from Yuan Shao, where one of your Roar, 50 points, is definitely going to rout them, and you also had your cavalry nearby to have persistent chase to just instantly get rid of that group, you didn't do it. And you let them sort of bypass through and take out your last range unit, which I know is not, you know, terribly important in the way the battle was flowing, but misplays like that really could help swing. You can keep, you know, Sun Tzu closer to 20k health. You can, you know, have your cavalry just destroy the enemy cavalry for free, and then try your best once the enemy units run out of their ammo, which was happening in the end, as the Vanguard crossbowman only has about 14 ammo at the start, so they will run out near the end of the fights. But even at that point, the Qingzhou units are really hard to clear. Venomous shot maybe would have done it, but Yan Baihu also saved a couple of those poison volleys at the end as well. So a great matchup with Yulia here taking the victory, and let's see the actual damage figures. So yeah, the generals did great. I think both sides, they did their job. I mean, Yuan Shao is there providing morale, which in this case was kind of okay because he was, you know, being kept safe and the formation was being useful at the same time. They had a decent amount of range that just harassed, even though, as you can see, range units, even when they don't get picked off right away, they don't do too much. I mean, they took a hell of arrow. This unit got crushed by the cavalry, and yet still they did okay. It's just you don't expect too much from your range unit. Surprisingly, I think the horse archers had tremendous value. This is in addition to whatever fire and morale damage it was causing. This only keeps track of kills. Like if they're burned to death, it's not a kill for the unit. Then we have the cavalry that snuck around. They were visible. Obviously, these are not premium shot cavalry. They're very cheap. I think they're like 440 each. And they got tremendous value for how much was invested in them compared to the much more expensive cavalry options used by Sun Tzu here. And you have to kind of classify why you recruit a unit. You recruit handmade guard to give boost to your generals, yet they were treated just like any average shot cavalry. They were played like a shot cavalry. Then just get a cheap shot cavalry if you're going to use them like that. You could get more of them that way. So I think that was really a missed opportunity. Ranking up all your units like this is a poor usage of money. I think you essentially spent more than 50 per rank up on all these units because they were expensive units to begin with. So this is like 100, 100, 100, 350, 450, 550. That's probably close to 200, 750, 850, 1050, and 1150. You could have gotten like 2 more premium units instead of spending the upgrades on these. You're getting literally 2 points of morale, 2 points of attack rate, and 2 points of evasion. Which one of those stats are useful on a cavalry unit? None of them. Even on melee units, like you already have a unit that has more than 50 base morale. How is 2 point of morale going to swing them any differently? It's really a waste of fund. With that money, you can get at least 1 more Protector of Heaven. Maybe 2 more actual shot cavalry units. I think upgrading units is the way to use leftover money. Like if you have an army comp like this where your army's filled and you use cheap units and you want to give a little bit of boost, especially to the range units, it makes a lot more sense. I still think the upgrades on these two and these two are, and this one in particular, should be spent elsewhere. Anyone with a bow should get that money first. So this one being rank 1, when they got rank ups, probably a poor choice. And since rank up cost is based on the unit base cost, I understand that the rank up for these are probably very cheap because the unit's only 460. But still, take away these rank up, give it to these, probably get more value out of them. And that's why, someone with like 60 plus ammo can finish off all their shots, because the upgrade give them better firing rate. And also no one really kind of pinned them down. And the value on these were tremendous because after they after they used all their ammo, they were still useful in chasing down Taishi around the battlefield. So definitely a great job there. Taishi got a lot of kills. I think he got off 3 great hail of arrows. Maybe even all 4, because I think the last one was the 4th one. I think he shot 2 at Yuan Shao. The first one, one of them doesn't count because he sort of semi-canceled it, but then got the cooldown back, and then he immediately shot it at a square formation. All the shots at units were kind of wasteful, especially that first one, where he was miles away from the crossbow unit and decided to just target that one guy instead of just scooting up just a little bit more across that straight line, which included that crossbow unit. Could have done tremendous damage with that hail of arrows. And also, he could have done Venomous Shot a bit more often at units. He did shoot one at Guojia. That was a waste. Venomous Shot is counter unit, not counter generals. And if you had done that, maybe we would have seen like 400, 500 kills. And maybe that would have won the battle. Because I think Taishi is pretty underrated as a general. And the unit choice on him was great. I think Protector of Heaven's a good choice. Tiger Guard, not so much. If you got rid of these two and just use that money to get 4 of the Qingzhou Halberds, this would have been a very different battle. Take away all the upgrades, you can probably get... you could probably do 2 handmade guards, 4 shot cavalry, keep the 4 Protector of Heaven, and gone with... Or maybe even keep the Protector of Heaven, add a little bit of... I don't know if archers are a good idea, especially if it would just be militia quality, but you get a little bit of fire arrow instead of the Tiger Guard, and you can flood this with, Qingzhou unit. You can definitely get a much better army setup with the same generals, and the generals would have done, better overall than the generals on this side, because Yanbaihu, I believe, only got off 2 poison volleys. They were great value. That first one was 2 Protector of Heaven plus 1 crossbow, and the last one was against the 2 handmade guard when they needed to break for the victory to happen, which was still a very good match. So congratulations to Yulia moving on with 13 minutes 34 seconds. And we'll see who they will play in the next round. So until then, bye.